Weekend vibes, Nintendo dives. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce back with another long-form discussion video, picking your brains on something that has been tickling mine. All right, as big as the Summer Direct was, the June Direct was fantastic, surprising, ticked a lot of boxes. There's a part of the calendar that really sticks out to me, and I've been thinking about it pretty much ever since the Pokemon Presents. Pretty much ever since then, I've been looking at this one time frame of like, what is Nintendo going to do with this? Is it going to match the pattern? And I got to give a shout out to Botox Games, who is a great Nintendo YouTuber. If you haven't seen his channel before, I'll put a link in the description because he posted this tweet that just perfectly summarized what I've been thinking about, which is Nintendo's late November game. Now, Nintendo has been known to utilize this slot for Pokemon, 5 of the last 7 years. Nintendo has not missed a pre-Black Friday drop for all of these years, which is pretty darn wild. That's a lot of years. That's the entirety of the Nintendo Switch life cycle, right? Came out in 2017. We're now here in 2024. Nintendo right now has Mario and Luigi Brothership, but that's the first week of November. They are skipping right now, or they are vacating the week before Black Friday. Now, why would Nintendo do that? Well, they wouldn't. There's really no logical reason because there's no new hardware. Like, we've already put that cat back in the bag and it's not coming out again. It's, corpuscle, so it's sleeping and it's not going to wake up until that thing's revealed. I don't believe that there is any hardware this year, not even an iteration, not even like a special OLED. We have the gold light. I think that's going to be it. So why nothing Black Friday week? To put it in retrospective, 2017 was Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon on the 3DS. 2018 was Pokemon Let's Go on the Switch. 2019 was Sword and Shield on the Switch. 2020 was sort of an oddball, being Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which felt like a filler title. No shade to that game, but it was the second Hyrule Warriors on Switch after they ported the first title. And it just felt like, hey, we need something out. We know that Breath of the Wild's really popular, so let's get this going. 2021 was Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. 2022 was Pokemon Scarlet Violet. 2023 was Super Mario RPG. So what's odd here is that it's either a Pokemon game or it is a main Nintendo title, or a main franchise rather, not a main title, but a main franchise with a side title that can sell well. Hyrule Warriors is a side Zelda title, Mario RPG is a side Mario title, and those can bring solid sales as consumers go to all of the different stores, whether that be physically, brick and mortar, or online. Right now, we have nothing in November, and it's very bizarre because this year is also bizarre for not having a Pokemon game. As you know, Nintendo loves to have Pokemon pretty much every single year, and they have not had a Pokemon game this year. The Pokemon Presents was an anomaly because of the fact it didn't announce a new game for the year. It announced Pokemon Legends ZA, and I thought maybe, Nintendo does have a Pokemon remake or a Pokemon side game scheduled for this fall, and they're going to reveal it at the June Direct. And then the June Direct passed and went, and there was no reveal. But we've got Mario and Luigi Brothership on the 7th of November, and we've got nothing after that. Nothing. Not a December game, not a late November game. It's very odd. Echoes of Wisdom comes in hot in late September. We've got Mario Party Jamboree taking up the multiplayer family-friendly slot in October. Mario and Luigi Brothership kind of being an oddball entry in November. Now, no offense to Mario and Luigi, I am ecstatic that that game is coming out. I loved Alpha Dream's work. I hope that this game can pay perfect homage to that and be hilarious in its own right. I love the art style. I like the direction of the enemies. I'm excited to see where it goes. To me, Mario and Luigi Brothership feels like the Hyrule Warriors or the Super Mario RPG. And with that being said, what would be left then for this mid-November slot? And it seems like all signs point towards Pokemon. Okay, Pokemon typically takes this slot. Pokemon has not had a release this year. Pokemon has been kind of very quiet. Could a Pokemon game still be due for this year? And why is Nintendo waiting so darn long? Why are they waiting so long to reveal it? Well, Nintendo has used shortened cycles before. The time frame between, say, Nintendo announcing the Nintendo World Championships and release, and then Nintendo announcing Zelda Echoes of Wisdom and then release. Pretty much 3 months or less. Nintendo has done that before with Paper Mario and the Origami King. They did it most recently with Emio. That was very abrupt, right? That game is out this month. Could Nintendo pop a Pokemon title into the November slot for extra sales and for a game before Black Friday? Now, explain to me why Nintendo would skip this. Why would they skip it? If they had new hardware or something, I could see, but there's no reason to skip it because all you're doing is limiting sales. And what does Nintendo want to do this year? They're not as concerned about hardware sales, although they do feel that they can recoup some of the ground they lost in the recent earnings call. They are more concerned about software. And so putting a piece of software that can sell very well right up alongside Black Friday and the holiday shopping season, especially in the US, is very critical. There is no reason to skip it, because if you were going to skip it, wouldn't you have just shifted Mario and Luigi Brothership to that week? We know that Nintendo has used Mario in the past. Last year, they used Super Mario RPG, November 17th. We've got Mario and Luigi Brothership coming out November 7th, which is extra odd because that's election week here in the United States. People's minds are going to be on a lot of other things. And they could have easily slotted that to be before Black Friday, right? There's no reason that they had to do that. They could have easily made sure that, hey, we are going to do this release on the 21st, Black Friday's on the 22nd, boom, go get Mario and Luigi Brothership. I believe if they didn't have a game releasing at this time frame, they would have shifted Mario and Luigi or even Mario Party Jamboree into that slot. There's no need to put Mario and Luigi Brothership earlier, as we have a 7-year established history and pattern. Now, you might say, well, Nintendo just doesn't have a Pokemon game this year. That's why the pattern's different. But do they really not have a Pokemon game? And if they do, where could this pop up? Would Nintendo really let the year pass without a Pokemon game? And the only reason I'd say yes is if Pokemon Legends ZA is an early 2025 title. Pokemon Legends ZA was revealed in a very, basic teasery fashion, right? It was shown off at the Pokemon Presents, and that's where I started to think about, is there another Pokemon game? But Pokemon Legends ZA is a 2025 title, and to me, that means it could easily be a March title, a May title. It could be a September title. Do I think it's a November title? Probably not yet, depending on how Nintendo wants to organize and structure it. If they are timing this to launch with the Switch 2 or to launch after the first wave of Switch 2 launch titles, I don't know that Pokemon is a launch game. I think Pokemon's something you release after it's more established, so maybe there is a scenario where Switch 2 comes out in March or April. Pokemon Legends ZA does come out in September or October or even November. With that being the case, Nintendo would go almost 2 years without Pokemon, and that seems very bizarre. I feel like there is a Pokemon game waiting in the wings, and what could that Pokemon game be? Well, it's interesting that Nintendo just dropped Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team onto Switch Online. They already have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX on the Switch as an alternative, and now they're giving you that game for free. Are they doing that because there is another Pokemon title in the Mystery Dungeon franchise ready to come to Switch, and they're utilizing this as leverage to get you ready for that, get you excited about that, because they no longer care about selling Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX, because they're about to sell you a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? I think that's very plausible. You know, we've talked a lot about Black and White coming back, and I guess that could happen, but I'm wondering if the excitement and enthusiasm around that game does yield a longer lead-up time. Nintendo and Pokemon Company hold their mainline games very near and dear, and even though it would be a remaster/remake, I think it's something that they could probably milk for marketing. I also wonder if Pokken Tournament 2 could be making an appearance. I think that is a very underrated Switch title, obviously ported over from the Wii U, but a very underrated fighter that got a lot of DLC and turned out to be a pretty killer game. It was really fun, a totally different way to experience Pokemon, and would be something that would slot in nicely to the holiday lineup, as there's not really anything akin to it. We haven't had Smash Brothers in years now. We obviously haven't had Pokken Tournament since the first year of Nintendo Switch. I think Pokken Tournament or a new Pokemon Mystery Dungeon are games that could easily slot in November, that would not require a huge lead-up time, and could easily be substantial sellers. Now, if it's not Pokemon, I do have a couple other theories for you, and that would be our GameCube greats that we've been waiting on. I recently made a video talking about updates on Metroid Prime 2 and 3, even though 3 is a Wii game, Zelda Wind Waker, Zelda Twilight Princess, and F-Zero GX. Could Nintendo use this Black Friday slot for one of those GameCube games? F-Zero GX would be my favorite pick, but I don't think F-Zero is something you release in November. As we mentioned, it's either Pokemon or a side game from a popular franchise. I don't think Metroid Prime is even that popular, so I don't think it would be Metroid Prime 2, and we've heard that Metroid Prime 2 is going to be just a simpler remaster than what they did going all out with Prime 1, so that leaves Wind Waker or Twilight Princess. Could Nintendo drop both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess in November? In my latest video, I talked about how Nate Drake said he thinks and he's heard that those games, their time has come and passed. They are no longer being thought of as Switch releases. Maybe they'll come to a GameCube NSO. Maybe they'll be released on Switch 2, but they're no longer being considered right now. And while I do think Nate Drake has a high record and a high, nice, wonderful, he tries to be calculated in his moves and what he states, there's a chance he's wrong. Leakers lately for Nintendo in particular have been very wrong, very spotty, and very missing information. I think November is going to either be Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Pokken Tournament 2, or Zelda Wind Waker and Zelda Twilight Princess, all four of which, any of which, could provide a substantial sales boost of familiar faces and characters right before the hugest holiday shopping season of the year, and one of the most hectic weeks, but one of the most beneficial weeks for a gaming company, that November 3rd week of the month. What do you all think? Do you think Nintendo is going to 8-year magic and just skip this time frame? Why did they not shift Mario and Luigi Brothership to that third week? And what do you believe will fill that spot if they are to announce something? Would they wait till the September Direct? That would be only 2 months away, or would they reveal it sometime in August? Nintendo is no stranger to dropping things on Twitter with a YouTube teaser and boom, it's ready to go. None of these games would be big enough to require like a humongous one more thing at a Direct. They could easily do it outside of the Direct, especially because we don't know if they're going to have a traditional Direct or a third-party showcase or nothing at all. Or maybe they're going to have a Switch 2 reveal, who knows? So maybe they do have a game plan to reveal in August as we move upwards towards this fall season. What are your takes? What do you believe? I really feel like there's going to be a Black Friday game. I love seeing the pattern because it doesn't seem like Nintendo would just out of the blue 7 years later on the 8th try skip it. It's been a big game. It's been a substantial game. It's been a seller. So Pokemon, I'm looking at you. Until next time, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. Love you lots. SwitchForce out.